Mr. Joshua, the founder of the Synagogue, Church of All Nations, SCOAN, died in Lagos on Saturday evening shortly after concluding a program at his church. The Gazette learned from family sources who did not want to be quoted as an official statement was still being prepared. He was 57. The cause of death was not immediately disclosed to the Gazette, but family sources said his remains had been deposited at the morgue and an autopsy would be performed forthwith. Mr. Joshua reigned for several decades as a fiery preacher on television, using his platform to attract a large number of Christians from across the world. Emmanuel TV, run by Mr. Joshua's SCOAN, is one of Nigeria's largest Christian broadcast stations, available worldwide via digital and terrestrial switches. In 2014, his church was at the center of a multinational investigation following a section of his church headquarters in Lagos collapsed, leaving dozens killed and many more injured. Mr. Joshua denied allegations of negligence and a trial over the incident was still underway prior to his demise. TB Joshua was born in June 12, 1963 in Nigeria in Ondo State, which is some 260 kilometers from Lagos. TB Joshua is a Yoruba-born and his full names are Temito Balogun Joshua. His father Kolawola Balogun was an educated man who worked as a translator for the British in Nigeria translating Yoruba to English. TB Joshua attended an Anglican primary school. After school his father and mother took him to live at the house of an Anglican priest which was at the back of the school. Growing up he used to read the entire Bible from Genesis to Revelation every 2 months. Every 2 months, I would have read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. It was the only subject that I believed so much in. It was as if Bible was the only subject that interested me in primary school. In exams, I scored 99% consistently whereas I performed woefully in other subjects. My excelling in Bible knowledge affected the other subjects where I performed poorly. Growing up TB Joshua lived well and was well fed until his father died when he was still at the St. Andrew's Anglican Primary School. After his father's death the family started to struggle financially. TB Joshua was then given to his uncle, his mother's brother, who was a strict Muslim. After primary school, his uncle took TB Joshua to a strict Muslim secondary school. There at the Muslim school he was not allowed to read the Bible. That was bitter medicine for him. But during school breaks he will often hide under a mango tree to read the Bible. And because of these difficulties he could not finish secondary schooling. He says, so I left school. I left because my life was in danger. I could sense that since I was doing this thing secretly one day something is going to happen to me. So he left Ondo State to the city of Lagos and got himself a job as a poultry attendant. His job description was to scrub chicken droppings with his hands and put them in bags for use as manure. As he was scrubbing the droppings on top will be chickens dropping more droppings all over his body. He says because of this his body odor smelled, and that when he moved around the city of Lagos he smelled very badly and flies were following him. He worked as a poultry attendant for 1 full year. He was the only Nigerian among Ghanaians. He says no Nigerian could do that kind of menial job, only people from Ghana did it. Using the little money from his job he went back to school. It was at this time that things changed for him. The other day a class was on, the teacher standing teaching. Then suddenly a madman came in the classroom and all students and the teacher fled. And the classroom was empty except himself and the madman. People having fled outside were concerned about him because the madman was known to be violent. But he prayed. And the madman was calm. From then on people in the school and around called him a small pastor. And during school assemblies the school principal will call him to open the school's activities with few scriptures and a word of prayer afterwards. This is where the awareness of God's presence on me started, he says. The news spread around and people came to him to be prayed. From these humble beginnings came the establishment of the Synagogue Church of All Nations and the Emmanuel TV, one of Africa's largest Christian television networks. Dr. Femi's success in Revealed, a complete revelation without humiliation, also provides scintillating and vivid details on how TB Joshua met his wife Evelyn back in 1989, and how he got her to agree to marry him on the spot the same day, the same hour they met, and remain married to her for well over 20 years.